everyone, I'm Sai Chaitanya. Welcome to Sai Tech. In this video, I'll be comparing the Realme X2 Pro versus a POCO F2 Pro device. As you can see, friends, so both the phones I'll be doing in-depth comparison. So A to Z, this includes everything, all these following categories, as you can clearly see. So these are the things which I'll be discussing in detail in this video. So try to watch till end of the video because this video will be very lengthy. So which I'll be covering all of these topics in detail. So you'll get a quick clarity about which phone is better, Realme X2 Pro or do you want to wait for the POCO F2 Pro in the future or not. So you'll get a clear idea, friends. And recently when I did another video comparing the Realme X2 Pro versus Redmi K20 Pro device. So as you can see, if you take a look at that video, so you can clearly see this video which I've done about 15 minutes where I covered each and every category in that video. So try to check that video if you're interested in terms of Redmi K20 Pro. So now let's get started. And one more thing is that you do have the playlist for each and every smartphone in the description. So if you want to know more details about the POCO F2 Pro, you can check the playlist for each and every phone and you can go through that individual videos. So right now the first topic which I'll be covering in the in-depth comparison is that software updates. So definitely the reason why I selected the software updates on the top, because one of the main reason is that if you're buying this kind of huge budget mobile phones, definitely you need to use for the next 3 to 4 years. So for 3 to 4 years, you need to have very good software updates. So in terms of the software updates, both are pretty good, POCO and Realme X2 Pro. So they are on the same level. So if I got the OnePlus mobile phone in this comparison, then definitely OnePlus will be the clear winner. But right now with the POCO, Redmi and Realme, they all are at same level. So there is nothing difference between all of these phones. So overall in terms of software updates, both are pretty equal. So next to the battery and charging. So first let's discuss about the battery backup, then I'll be coming back to the charging. So in terms of the battery backup, I do get slightly more in the POCO F2 Pro since it has got the 4700 mAh battery. So there is also another good thing in the POCO F2 Pro, and you don't get any high refresh rate option in the POCO F2 Pro. Unfortunately, you do only have 60 Hz refresh rate with this phone. And on the other hand, the Realme X2 Pro has a 90 Hz refresh rate. So overall in terms of the battery, the screen on time in the Realme X2 Pro, I used to get around 6 hours of screen on time roughly. So in the POCO F2 Pro, even the same thing, I used to get close to 7 hours of screen on time, just 1 hour extra. So definitely both phones are pretty good for normal use, 2 days you can use, and for the medium usage 1.5 days, and for heavy usage 1 day is possible with both of these phones. And in terms of the battery backup, slightly better in the POCO F2 Pro. Next is the charging. So in terms of charging, friends, things get completely on the side of Realme X2 Pro, because the Realme X2 Pro has 50 watt super fast charging, which can charge within 33 minutes. So 33 minutes are close to 30 minutes, so which is a very good advantage in the Realme X2 Pro phone. On the other hand, the POCO F2 Pro has only 33 watts charging, which takes roughly around, I think, 70 minutes of charging time. So overall it's the double amount of time from the Realme X2 Pro. So if you ask me which one would I pick in terms of the battery and charging, I would always choose the Realme X2 Pro, friends, definitely. The reason is because the phone can charge within 30 minutes, and 30 minutes of charging can give you 1 day of usage, so which is incredibly good. So from the minute I started to use the Realme X2 Pro, definitely whenever I use any other phone, I used to feel a little bit of sad the phone cannot fast charge like Realme X2 Pro. So overall in terms of the battery and charging, the charging Realme X2 Pro and the battery backup to the POCO F2 Pro device. So this is the overall conclusion in terms of battery and charging. So let's move into the next department in terms of the performance. So in the performance, both phones, they do have pretty good processors, Snapdragon 865 processor and Snapdragon 855 plus processor. So if you look at the difference of the scores, there is not much, but definitely you can observe 80,000 difference of score between both of the smartphones. So if you're looking to buy the phone as a future proof, then definitely choose the 865 processor. But if you're okay with a normal use and medium usage for a very long time, then definitely the Realme X2 Pro should be sufficient for you for the next 3 to 4 years with this Snapdragon 855 plus processor, definitely friends. And in terms of the performance, both phones are pretty good, though there is nothing much difference happening at the moment in terms of the both phones. Everything is smooth, but the animations looks pretty good and very smooth in the Realme X2 Pro, since the Realme X2 Pro has the 90Hz refresh rate, which makes the things interesting. As I said, the 90Hz refresh rate makes the performance very smooth, and smooth animation, smooth scrolling. Even most of the games, they do support the 90Hz refresh rate. Then definitely, I downloaded plenty of games which are actually supported with the 90 FPS. So right now, even I'm playing this game which actually do support the 90 FPS mark. So which is a very good thing in terms of having this kind of functionality. So as a future proof, then definitely you can buy the 90 refresh rate or 120 refresh rate at the moment. As you can see friends, right now it's around 84 FPS, as you can see here clearly. So overall, in terms of the performance, 865 is better, and in terms of the smoother animations and better results, then the Realme X2 Pro will be the better option. And right now is a display comparison. So display comparison, I did in-depth display comparison between both of the smartphones. Right now I'll be just going through little bit which phone is the best. So overall, in terms of the display, both phones are pretty good in terms of having very good colors and brightness levels, but the POCO F2 Pro has one of the best advantage, which is called the video toolbox. So which I did a separate video on that one as well. So the what you mean by video toolbox is that here you do get a different styles where you can select every time. As you can see, you can change the entire contrast and brightness and saturation levels. You can see how it's decreasing and increasing clearly the sky. So if you use the cinema mode, in this mode the colors looks very saturated when you compare with the Realme X2 Pro side by side. So you can just check side by side friends. Definitely the display on the POCO F2 Pro is very good because of this small software gimmick which has been recently updated here in this phone. So overall, in terms of the display, I'm giving full points to the POCO F2 Pro, which has full screen experience also, and having this option, which is my favorite feature, which I use most of the time. So definitely, even the Realme X2 Pro the display is not too bad. Even the Realme X2 Pro display is pretty good, but it just of having lack of having this kind of software functionality where you can actually change the colors and increase the brightness levels. So which is very good in the POCO F2 Pro. And if you're a fan of having the higher refresh rate, then the Realme X2 Pro will be the best option. So next, let's move to the camera. In terms of the camera, both the phones, they do have quad camera setup, as you can see, but I would prefer the POCO F2 Pro camera only. The reason because the POCO F2 Pro camera can actually record 8K footage. As you can see friends, 8K footage can be recorded in this phone. As a future-proof option, then definitely maybe in the next 2 years, 8K would have been normal for premium and mobile phones, and definitely this POCO F2 Pro stands apart right now. So in terms of the camera, I'm giving full points to the POCO F2 Pro of having pop-up camera and of having 8K video footage recording. So that's a very good advantage in the POCO F2 Pro phone. So next is the connectivity. So in terms of the connectivity, both are having some advantage and disadvantage. So let's talk about Realme X2 Pros first. So in terms of the Realme X2 Pro, you do have the Wi-Fi which has dual Wi-Fi connection, as you can see. So where you can connect the two Wi-Fi networks at same time. And on the other hand, in the POCO F2 Pro, you do have the Wi-Fi 6 support. So let me try to show you friends. As you can see, 6th generation support is there. So definitely as a future proof, if you want your mobile phone which has a Wi-Fi 6 compatibility, then definitely right now POCO F2 Pro is the best option. So there are so many future proof options which is present in the POCO F2 Pro, like the processor 865 is a very good processor for the next 3-4 years, and having this Wi-Fi 6 is also very good option in this phone, and having the 8K video recording also very good option in the POCO F2 Pro. So these are the few things which are which acts as a very good thing for the future proof in terms of before buying the mobile phones. So Wi-Fi 6 is also pretty good, and this also has a very good 4G speeds as well in both the phones. Next is the build quality and the speakers. So in terms of the speakers, the build quality, I do like the Realme X2 Pro's build quality, which is kind of very good, and uh, equally distribute the buttons. So right side you got the power button and left side you got a volume up and down, but whereas in the POCO F2 Pro both are at same direction. And the Realme X2 Pro has the very good dual loudspeaker setup. So there is a stereo speaker setup from the bottom and the top, so which is very good in the Realme X2 Pro. So whereas in the POCO F2 Pro you do have only bottom facing speaker, so which I did a review on that one as well, comparing both speakers. Even the POCO F2 Pro performed pretty good, but having the stereo speaker setup will give you very good Dolby Atmos experience while watching the videos. So overall, this is the build quality and speaker comparison. So extra features include the POCO F2 Pro has a LED notification light on the top, and it has got the IR blaster lens also, as you can see. So there is a IR blaster lens on the top, and LED notification light as well on the pop-up camera, so which is also pretty good. So these are the few things as a best features which I found in the POCO F2 Pro phone. So in terms of the Realme X2 Pro, everything is looks pretty good and everything is fine. So there is no, so right now I have covered all these different areas, and do comment below which phone you like the most and why. So this will give you a quick clarity, friends, which phone to buy and why as well. So do watch my all of the playlist of each and every video, so you'll get a clear idea before buying the mobile phones. So see you in the next video, friends. Until then, bye.